What are yoga and wellness for in a fascist era, especially given that both are tangled up in the history of fascism? So I spent about a dozen years teaching yoga before starting to do journalism on yoga cults. And now, every once in a while, I still get invited to be a guest speaker on a training program for new teachers about yoga practice and culture. And this week, this big question came up again, like, what does this mean today? What is the best way to approach this stuff? And why are people asking these basic questions? Because more and more of us are becoming aware that yoga and wellness cultures have provided key demographic support for the rise of people like RFK Jr. So, a little history. There's a contradiction at the heart of modern postural yoga, and that's that the early Indian innovators of the 1920s were trying to create a physical culture that could compete with, but also distinguish itself from the calisthenics of colonialism. And this set the stage for yoga classes looking very much like military drills, while the gurus claimed yoga had health benefits that rivaled biomedicine. Now, this becomes a wide open gateway to a century of pseudoscience. And like all physical cultures of the time, it was dripping with ableism and eugenics, and this meshed with blood and soil themes of purity and pollution. During the globalization and commodification period that began in the 1960s, most adopters were women of means. And so the pseudoscientific tendency began to focus on reproductive health, and that through childbearing linked to anxieties about vaccines. During the pandemic, there were plenty of yoga teachers who went on social media to claim that breathing exercises could prevent or heal COVID better than any vaccine could. And others went full QAnon because QAnon was in part a pipeline for supplement sales. Now, if we fast forward, RFK Jr. would not be where he is without the Yoga Mom vote, which is support that he punted to Trump and then was rewarded for with a cabinet position. So now fascists are weaponizing the yoga and wellness version of distrusting public health, not because they care about your health, but because anything that erodes the status of expertise and regulations on health grifting is a win for them. At this point, I think yoga teachers at minimum have to be meticulous about protecting public health by promoting evidence-based measures, and that means shifting away from making health claims. It's just not helping. But back to that bigger question, like, what is all of this for? Like, if you're white and you're doing Hindu cosplay, does that help anybody? Like, do you really think the world needs another divine goddess influencer? But we can think about this, though. If yoga and wellness are good for recovery from the stress of social justice activism, and then they provide the inspiration to do more while shedding fatigue and resentment, doesn't that encapsulate a lot of things that you actually want? Now, for more on how that's shaken out through history, you can look into how yoga was treasured by Rosa Parks, Angela Davis, and Audre Lorde. The yoga past is fasci, but the yoga present can be anti-fascist.